What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some basketball games for Monday, May 2nd, 2022. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We're going to be looking at the Sixers versus the Heat in Game 1 and the Mavericks versus the Suns in Game 1. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I keep track of the home team win-loss records for the playoffs. So this particular game, the Sixers versus the Heat, it's going to be the 46th NBA playoff game for this season in particular. And then I have the series record up here. It's the first game 1-0-0 right now. But the road team, their records right here, their coach's record, his postseason record, their season record, their away record, and their record as a team in the playoffs. In the middle is the all-time head-to-head records between the two teams, as well as postseason, as well as this season in particular. And at the bottom is the home team, their season record, their home record, their playoff record, their coach's record, his playoff record. All right, so not going to spend too much time on here. I'm just going to jump right into these games. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, get on a bigger screen. All right, so let's start with the Sixers and the Heat. The Sixers and the Heat. So I usually start with the home team, and then I'll go over some numbers for the road team. So if the Heat were going to win this game, one thing that stands out to me is it being the 238th day of the Hebrew civil year, 238. Sixers coach, he can get his 832nd win, or excuse me, 832nd loss all time for his career. 832 is just a reflection of 238. Today being the 238th day of the Hebrew civil calendar, that can go in favor for the Heat. Today does have 49 date numerology on the Gregorian. The Sixers would get their 227th postseason loss as a team. 227, the 49th prime number. And Sixers would actually become 239, 227 for a playoff record with the loss. 227, the 49th prime. But 239 is the 52nd prime number. And today is May 2nd, kind of like 5/2, like a 52. A day with 49 date numerology on the Gregorian. So you have that 52 and that 49 right there in the dates. And then Sixers could become 239, 227, the 52nd prime and the 49th prime number for a playoff record with a loss. Heat would go ahead and get their 58th win for the season as they get their 73rd all-time head-to-head win against the Sixers. If you write out the number 73, it does sum to 58. They can go ahead and go with that as well. And then on the side of the calendar that I completely made up, it is the 11th month, the second day of the 11th month, like 11/2, like 112. Heat could sit on 112 playoff losses with the win. It is a calendar side that I did make up. But number's still there if you want to consider it. But let's go ahead and move over to the Sixers. What would it look like for the Sixers to win this game? Well, one thing for the Sixers is today has 142 date numerology on the Hebrew religious, the 31st day of the Hebrew religious year. This being the 142nd all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams, and the Heat can get their 31st loss for the season. On top of that, they would sit on 142 playoff wins as a team with the loss to go with. So they have that 142-31 Hebrew pattern here. That could go in favor for the Sixers. It is the 11th postseason head-to-head matchup between these two teams. 31 is the 11th prime number. That's what it could be for the Heat right there, is that 31. This will be the 46th NBA playoff game for this season. This is the Sixers coach's 199th postseason game for his career. 199 is the 46th prime number. Sixers can pick up their 56th win for the season. If you write out the number 56, it sums to 46 as well. 56 sums to 46. And Heat would fall 5-6, like 56 head-to-head against the Sixers for the playoffs with a loss. So that's just a quick overview of those games, some of those numbers. Let's just go ahead and move on. I'm not going to make this video long at all, so I'm trying to make this video super short. Let's go on to the Mavericks and the Suns. Mavericks and the Suns. So start with the home team. The Suns and the Heat have the same number at play. If the Heat going to win, I would imagine the Suns are probably going to win, and it's going to be based off of the coach again. Today is the 238th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. Mavericks coach can get his 238th loss all time for his career, just like the Sixers coach can get his 832nd loss all time for his career. 832 is just a reflection of 238. So the Sixers coach can get that 832, and the Mavericks coach can get that 238. Both of them on the 238th day of the Hebrew civil. 832 just a reflection of 238. And so that would favor the Suns and the Heat for this day. Some other things that would favor the Suns to win this game would be the Suns sitting on 20 losses for the season, as Mavericks get their 20th road loss to go with. If you write out the number 20, it sums to 26. Sums to 26. Suns would get their 101st all-time head-to-head win against the Mavericks, the 26th prime number, as they become 35-10 at home for this season with the win. 3-5-1 or 35-10 looks like a 3-5-1. 3-5-1 is the 26th triangular number. So a bit of a 26 pattern there in favor for the Suns. If you actually write out the number 26, it sums to 42, and this will be the 181st all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams. 181 is the 42nd prime number. So those would be some numbers for the Suns. If we were to look at the Mavericks, if the Mavericks were going to win this game, they would have some similar numbers to the Sixers. If the Sixers were going to win, it's going to come back to the Hebrew calendar and the 31. Mavericks, they can have Suns become 3-1 head-to-head against for the season if the Suns will lose on the 31st day of the Hebrew religious, like 31, the 11th prime number. Suns would get their 11th home loss to go with, this being Mavericks coach's 31st postseason game for his career. So similar numbers between the two teams, right? So if Sixers were to win this game, I would probably blame it on the Hebrew calendar, 142 and 31. You have the 142 and the 31 here for the against the Heat. But at the same time, if the Heat were going to win, I would blame the 832 in the Hebrew civil. And same thing goes for the Mavericks and the Suns. If the Suns win this game, I would blame the 238 for the Hebrew civil, the 238. But if Mavericks were going to win this game, I would blame the 31 date numerology, 31 postseason game for the coach. Suns can fall 3-1 head-to-head against Mavericks, 31 the 11th prime. Suns would get their 11th home loss to go with. On the Mavericks side, they would become 1-3, like 13. Today does have 13 date numerology on the Gregorian side of the calendar. And this will be the 13th postseason head-to-head matchup between these two teams. 13 and 31, they're just reflections of each other. And then Mavericks could become 57-32 for a season record with a win. If you write out the number 57, 57 sums to 131, which basically just looks like a 13 and a 31 combined. 131, 131, 13, and 31. But 131 is the 32nd prime number. So they could become 57-32. 57 sums to 131, the 32nd prime. 131 has that 13 and that 31 built in. Then it could be 3-1, 1-3 head-to-head against each other for the season. Mavericks 31st game, his coach. 11th home loss, 13th postseason head-to-head matchup between these two. So I'd say the numbers are very similar between these two games. The numbers that are going to favor the Sixers to win are the same numbers that are going to favor the Mavericks to win. And the numbers that favor the Suns to win are the same numbers that favor the Heat to win. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you some insight to the games. I just wanted to breeze through this really quickly. I didn't want to make this a long video at all. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of info here that gets you started, gives you an idea, an overview of the games, and helps you with your decode. I wish you guys the best luck on all your picks. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. And like I said, the same numbers that are going to favor the Sixers are the same numbers that are going to favor the Mavericks, and the same numbers that favor the Suns are the same numbers that favor the Heat. So we'll see if it's home teams or road teams, or if it's 50-50 or what happens. But, of course, my picks will be on Patreon if you want to know what they are. There should be enough information here for you guys to make a decision or build out your own decode and make a decision and just kind of copy what I did here and then add on top of it. Either way, I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next video.